Hip Hop's One Hit Wonders Part 2, let's get it. I put out the first part a while back, it was really well received, but there are still plenty of rappers left to talk about who fall into the One Hit Wonder category. And I'll be using the same criteria as the last video for which rappers qualify as One Hit Wonders. If you haven't watched it yet, then boom, there it is. But real quick, before we dive into that, I want to give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Artiphon, with their latest product, Arba 2. Arba is a really interesting and exciting instrument that anyone can play. I've literally been playing around with mine since I got it and just having fun creating loops. As someone who obviously loves music and listens to a lot of it, to the point where I have an entire YouTube channel dedicated to it, but doesn't really have the time to get too involved with learning how to play multiple different instruments, Arba is the perfect solution, making it easy to flex those creative brain muscles and lay down some instrumental ideas. Nice and simple. All right, let's add something to it. Should we try some chords? Not too bad. All right, let's add some bass in. And that's one simple loop right there. You can make full instrumental loops, or if you want, you could listen to an existing song that you enjoy and add your own elements in there by jamming along to it with Arba. On top of that, you've got a variety of sounds that you can choose from by connecting to the Arba app, and you could even make something that is completely unique to you by recording your own samples on the app, sending them to Arba, and then playing music with whatever you want. You can also perform certain gestures like tilting to change the way things sound. It's kind of like you're shaping the music with your hands. Artiphon is actually releasing a collaboration with an artist that I covered somewhat recently on my channel, so I'm looking forward to telling you about that after it releases. So if Arba is something that sounds interesting to you, you can click my link at the very top of the description below, get yourself one, and start creating. Much love to Artiphon for sponsoring today's video with Arba 2. So with that being said, this is CDTVProductions. Make sure to turn on notifications for the channel if you enjoy my videos, not only so you get notified when new ones come out, but also because I just started live streaming, doing live album reactions and all that kind of stuff, and it's been a lot of fun. Hope to see more of you guys there. And let's get right into the video, Top Shaggers. Tag Team remind me a little bit of Bone Crusher from the last Hip Hop's One Hit Wonders video, in the sense that they had one top 40 hit. With Tag Team it was Whoomp There It Is in 1993, put out some other versions of the song which performed decently but not as well as the original track, and then Tag Team took it an extra step further by even naming their first studio album after their hit song. There was actually a tiny bit of controversy around this song too, as it released about a month after the very similarly titled song Woot There It Is by 95 South, which was also a hit in its own right, but wasn't as big as Tag Team's song. Listen to the hooks of both songs, they are delivered in a very similar way. 95 South claimed Tag Team ripped the song off from them in 93, but Tag Team claimed that they recorded the song in August of 92 and it just didn't release until May of 93. There was a lot of back and forth and differing accounts of what happened out there, so it's hard to make a definitive statement either way if the song was ripped off or not, but what can be said is that both songs arguably helped boost the other's success with the really similar titles. However, following Tag Team's hit song, legal situations and label issues, along with decreased album sales, would end up derailing the duo. It was claimed that the sample of Kano's I'm Ready in Whoop There It Is was used without permission, and Tag Team's label paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to settle the lawsuit, consequently filing for bankruptcy in 1997. Because of the label dissolving, there was a long dispute over the ownership rights of the song, but over 20 years later in 2013, it was reported that the members of Tag Team were still making up to $70,000 a year from Whoop. Not too shabby. Regardless of them not going on to have any more hits, Whoop There It Is has stood the test of time pretty well, being used in certain ads, films, and becoming a staple at certain live sporting events. I would be surprised if most of you watching this video didn't recognize it straight away, regardless of your age.
My neck, my back, lick my pussy and my crack. My neck, my back.
Her neck, her back, her pussy, and her crack. That is what Khia's 2002 hit song was about. Unsurprisingly, the clean version of the song made for the radio had to make a few adjustments to the lyrics because just blanking out the explicit parts would sound ridiculous.
You roll your from the back to the front, then you get all till I.
But I'm assuming that most people know the song for the full-on explicit version of the hook. And it was a successful song all over the world, charting at number 42 in the US and number 4 on the UK singles chart, with it also having impressive charting positions in Australia, Canada, a number 8 spot in my homeland of Scotland, which I feel like is rare when I'm researching for these videos. I rarely see a specific Scotland chart for a song. And all across Europe. The song is well known to this day, but following it, Khia wouldn't have any other songs hit any other notable charts around the world, despite dropping a fair bit of music. However, in 2008, she did compete in the VH1 reality show Miss Rap Supreme, where 10 contestants competed for the unofficial title of the next great female MC. I say unofficial title as the next great female MC because the eventual winner of the contest has only dropped one album and has 0 monthly listeners on Spotify. As for how Khia did, she placed last. Also, I thought it was Khia until I heard her saying her own name. I thought it was pronounced Khia. Now, the contestant Lioness was eliminated in the first episode before Khia, but then it was found out in episode 2 that Khia had broken the rules a little bit by rapping an existing song in the previous episode and not an original one like the rules said they had to.
Now, all of you were told to write an original 16-bar verse. But Khia, after the elimination, I started thinking that your rhyme sounded familiar.
Call it just like I see, you gotta respect me. Anywhere you see me, you better respect me.
Which is in direct violation of the contest rule.
Khia, you're disqualified. Step off!
Taboo. Are you serious?
She was disqualified from the competition. Lioness was brought back in, meaning that Khia officially finished in last place. Whenever anyone talks about that show nowadays though, which I'm assuming is not very frequently, it's about Khia being on it. So she definitely left her mark on the show. Outside of that, she's ventured into some other avenues now, having released 2 books. Apparently. I can't find her self-help book Love Yourself Ho anywhere, I just see mentions of it. However, her novel Ignoring the Signs does have a Goodreads page, so I know that exists.
Romeo, an exotic dancer, 6'2", 250 pounds of pure majesty. He's every woman's desire and every gay man's dream, and he knows it.
In fact, her reading this very book out loud on a live stream is where this meme comes from, if you've ever seen it.
His thrust his tongue deep into my ass, licking all of my anal walls. He sucked and licked and slurped and tongue, going from my pussy to my ass and then back up again.
You know, it's kind of like the book version of My Neck, My Back. It all comes full circle eventually.
The beat's so hot, the flow is so ice cold. Walk into the Gucci store, honey, I'm home.
Playaz Circle was a duo comprised of the rappers Dollar Boy and Titty Boy. There's no way he's gonna go on and have a successful solo career with a rap name like Titty Boy. The duo started working together in 1997, but wouldn't see their first hit together until 10 years later in 2007 with the iconic Duffel Bag Boy featuring Lil Wayne. How could it not have done well with such a hard hook from Wayne in peak form and Titty Boy's entertaining wordplay?
If I don't do nothing, I'm about. I'm counting all day like the clock on the wall. You niggas barely dressing. I got thousands piling. That's that salad dressing. I'm on my 1,000th island.
The track peaked at number 15 on the Hot 100 and has been certified platinum. As I'm sure a lot of you already do know though, I was joking about Titty Boy not going on to have a successful career because he would rebrand as 2 Chainz from 2011 onwards and has went on to have an extremely successful solo rap career with multiple hits to his name. So while Playaz Circle would remain as one-hit wonders as a duo, which is how I'm counting them here, Titty Boy would go on to pave a hit-laden path for himself. The name change was a great idea too. As for Dollar Boy, I don't know too much about what he's up to at the moment, but he did drop a couple mixtapes under the name Dylan Sax from 2012 to 2013, but other than that, it seems like it's mostly been quiet on the music front from him. I looked up his Instagram to see if there was anything on there that could hint more towards what he's doing now, and it looks like he's just enjoying life, having a good time, and most importantly, still hanging out with the man formerly known as Titty Boy. Maybe one day we will get another Playaz Circle song. Only time will tell.
Gold all in my ring. Gold all in my watch. Don't believe me, just watch.
As it is with a fair few one-hit wonders, Trinidad James would get his only hit with his debut single. In this case, All Gold Everything. His song about his gold watches, chains, and rings would peak at the number 36 spot on the Hot 100, and would not only go on to be certified gold itself, but platinum too. He can add that gold plaque onto his shiny possessions checklist. I've personally never been a fan of the track with Trinidad's slow-moving flow, but even then, I can't deny that it's pretty iconic, and I still remember it now, a decade later. The remix with T.I., Jeezy, and 2 Chainz is definitely the better version of the song if you want to check that out. The viral success of the song landed Trinidad James a record deal with Def Jam in 2012, who probably felt that he could just keep going and stack up the hits on top of All Gold Everything, but when that didn't happen, they quickly dropped him from the label in 2014, and he's been an independent artist ever since. It's not all bad though. He managed to get himself a decent chunk of change when Bruno Mars interpolated his "Don't Believe Me, Just Watch" line from All Gold Everything on the song Uptown Funk, giving Trinidad James a writer credit and a reported 8% cut of the song's royalties. That's pretty solid for a track that earned an estimated $5.5 million in 2015 alone. Also, even if I'm not the biggest Trinidad James fan from what I've heard, I personally think he maybe should have got a second hit song with Just a Lil Thick, cause that's a pretty fun track. Definitely check that out if you haven't heard it. The only reason I did was because it dropped during my 2016 Lil Dicky phase, when Lil Dicky was just, you know, starting to blow up. What an interesting time.
Caroline, you divine, mighty fine. Shawty really blow the pie.
If there's one entry on this list that I could see people potentially getting defensive about or trying to dispute, it's this one. But one-hit wonder status doesn't necessarily mean that the artist makes bad music or that their hit is all there is to them. And Amine is a great example of that, with Caroline being his only song that's charted on the Hot 100, peaking at the number 11 spot. But I'm sure a lot of people who've heard his other music, including me, would say that there's plenty of songs from him that they prefer and would argue are better. I'm not gonna make it out to be like I'm a huge mega fan, but Limbo was a good, well-crafted album, and songs like Woodlawn, Pressure in My Palms, Compensating and Can't Decide have stuck with me. Also, in my personal opinion, Compensating absolutely should have been a Hot 100 hit. That song It has all the hit potential there and it sounds great. I do like Caroline too, by the way. It's just not my absolute favorite thing from him. Still a pretty fun song though, and the visuals for the music video look great. So while technically having one hit wonder status by the parameters of this one particular video, I would say that Amine has continued to have a successful music career regardless. You don't necessarily need hits to have longevity if there's more to your music than just one fluke hit. One hit wonder is meant here in a more neutral and objective way, and not necessarily as an insult to the rappers included, which is why I included someone like Amine on here, who I currently listen to and appreciate as an artist. He technically has one big hit, but he's still somewhat relevant as of today. So that is it for the second part of hip hop's one hit wonders. Let me know down in the comments below who your favorite one hit wonder from this list is, and thank you for watching. And make sure to keep an eye out for those live streams, because I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more of them soon, and it's where I'm probably going to be doing album reactions from now on, because I did one to College Park by Logic, which I intend to edit down into a shorter video for this channel, but basically it was a lot of fun and I would love to do it more going forward. Much love to my beautiful Patreon supporters. You can click down there to check out the first part to this video, with a special shout out to my biggest supporters, and those are Agir, Big Daddy Foe, Diego Victoriano, Griffin Upchurch, I Am Regent, Josh Gourmet, Lucas1123, and Ryan Shadow 507.